Greetings to all of humanity. It's really a joy, it's a pleasure as usual. Always greeting you and bringing this message of emancipation to you, whereby I'm pointing you to look no other place but to look inwardly to discover that your real identity is your divinity. Now, before I get into what I want to speak to you about, I just want to say to you, if you haven't purchased this Bible already, that you should definitely grab a hold of this Bible. It's called the 66 Books of Magic, the Overcomer's Bible, dedicated to Abdullah and Neville Goddard. Okay? And in this Bible, every book of the Bible, I give a short breakdown of what the book is all about, and then you get the book. Okay, just as how it is written in the Bible. It's right like that. But I break down the whole book first in just a simple way. Okay? And also, in this Bible, there's a blank space next to the Christ for you to write your name. Because Jesus is omitted. Because you're the one who would have that Christ experience and come to realize that it's all about you, and that the Bible is a spiritual autobiography that must be interpreted psychologically. So, let me say again, if you haven't gotten this Bible, the Overcomer's Bible, 66 Books of Magic, I'm encouraging you to get it. It's on Amazon. It's available in this form. This is the New Testament, and it has the Old Testament, and the Old Testament is in two different books because it's a lot. So I have to put it in 2 books. Okay, also you can get the 66 Books of Magic on Kindle. Okay, so you can get the ebook also. And the reason why I choose to have a Bible like that is because I'll be doing Bible studies with you very soon on this channel, and you need to follow along using this Bible. Okay, and it will really help you a lot to study the Bible with me concerning the teaching of Abdullah and Neville Goddard, and you have a Bible that you can really read along and follow with, and a Bible that you don't have to see the name of Jesus popping up in front of you every time. Okay, you'll be able to write your name in that blank space. Also, if this message has been really resonating with you and you'd like to support this message in any way, there's a link down below. You can check out the link down below, and the link is also down below for the Bible, and the link down below will point you to our Patreon, so you can support on Patreon, and you can support by way of PayPal. Now, with that being said, I want to talk to you concerning mental illness and how Abdullah taught Neville Goddard that millions and millions of people around the world were suffering from mental illness because most people were brought up to believe that the Bible is literal and that the Bible is secular history. And so, when you believe that the Bible is literal and that the Bible is secular history, you're actually living your life with a mental illness. It means that you're sick in your mind because you're not operating at the highest level of thinking. Now, everything that you have, you can find it in a pig, you can find it in a dog, you can find it in a horse, except for mind and speech. Therefore, you've been given a mind for you to use it to live above the animals and to prove that you've been given dominion over everything. So in order for you to live in a place of dominion, you have to get rid of your mental illness or mental sickness. Now, the reason why this mental illness is so prevalent among the masses is because many fail to realize that they're born in this world in a state called amnesia. which is a state of forgetfulness. So everybody born in this world, born in a state not knowing who they are, and you're seeking to know who you are. Therefore, if you're seeking to know who you are, then the universal question of life must be, who am I? And when the answer comes, it must be, I am. Thus the reason why you have to understand the Bible psychologically, to understand that the Bible is your spiritual autobiography, and to understand that Moses represents your birth, because Moses means to be born. You're the one who will be taken out of the water, lying in a basket, because you're in your mother's womb in that basket, and your mother Red Sea was stopped before you could have crossed over, because your mother would have stopped seeing her period, and then she had to start flowing again for you to cross over into this dimension. So our water bag have to burst, and she started flowing again, and then the Red Sea flow again, and you've been expressed in this dimension. Now when you understand that, and you understand the universal question of life, and you understand that you're born in this world and you do not know who you are, you do not know the phenomena of life, you do not know the origin of your existence. When you come to all of that realization, then you will understand that in Exodus chapter 3, it is telling you that Moses, which is a representation of you, will ask the question, who am I? That I may tell the people who I'm going to go to, and I'm going to speak, and I'm going to tell them of my experience, and how I'm going to tell them that God is within them. What name would I give to them? So you show it's teaching you here identification. And when the answer comes to you, it will be, I am that I am. Which is to say, I am whatever I believe myself to be. For as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So if you fail to realize that it is your own thoughts that is creating your reality, and that you can create your reality consciously, if you fail to understand that, then you will believe that there's an outside entity that is tempting you to do things that you don't want to do. And you will never hold yourself responsible for your thoughts, because you're glad that you have a devil that you can blame, not knowing that the devil is a negative self. So when a person living in that state, they're suffering from mental illness. They're sick and they need healing. So Abdullah taught Neville that he was suffering, Neville was suffering from a mental illness, and that he needed healing for his mental illness. Yet Neville was studying with Abdullah for over 5 years and didn't realize everything that Abdullah was teaching him was to show him that he was suffering from a mental illness, and that that mental illness was passed on to him through his parents. Scientists such as Bruce Lipton, they refer to such a thing as epigenetics, where certain things been passed down and it's in your DNA. And so because of this mental illness, Abdullah had to put Neville in a state whereby he would have this desire, this burning desire in him to go to Barbados. Abdullah did it on his behalf, because Abdullah understood the power of the mind and how the mind works, and Abdullah would have already break out of his mental illness and was living in his higher self. So he put him in that state, and then Neville went to Abdullah and was telling Abdullah how he had this burning desire to travel to Barbados. Yet Neville had no work, he had no money, he didn't even have a good suit. And Abdullah assured him that he has already gone to Barbados. All of that was a part of the diagnosis that Abdullah was carrying out on Neville to help to heal him from his mental illness. And it wasn't until Neville had the experience and then he put it to work in his own life that he realized that he was suffering from a mental illness. Now, unfortunately, there are many people all around the world who look like me who are suffering from mental illness. They fail to understand the very first law of their existence, which is the law of mentalism. They fail to realize that everything is false mental, and everything is false psychological. That's why they blame the devil. That's why they believe in a God outside of themselves. That's why they look to a man in the sky and fail to realize that everything that they are beholding without, it is within. Because they lack understanding also of the law of correspondence. So they're living in a world and not even in touch with nature. They're living in a world and do not realize the oneness, that the entire universe is mental, and that everything is mental, and that everything exists within. And you are the perceiver beholding the perception, and we are the creator beholding the creation. Because there must be a creator before the creation. There must be a perceiver before the perception. So when a person is not living in the high state of consciousness, where they know exactly who they are, why they're here, where they really come from, and where they are really going, because they fail to understand how the mind works, they fail to understand how thoughts work, they fail to realize that they are thought-evolved being, because our mother and father had to come together by way of a thought to have sex for us to be expressive. They fail to understand all of those things. And because they fail to understand that, they do not realize that they are living at the level of the animals, just existing based on the 5 senses and never getting in touch with the 6th sense. Because we are spirit having a human experience. So if we are spirit having a human experience, we have to get into the 6th sense to be in touch with our spiritual self and to understand the spiritual world that we really came from. So my brothers and my sisters, unless you've been in touch with your true spiritual self, you would suffer for the rest of your life from a mental illness. And you become more intellectual. And you would ever learn. You'll be ever learning, but yet not coming to the knowledge of the truth. And the Bible speaks of such people. And there are millions and millions of people around the world who have religious mentality, superstitious mentality. And these are the people who are living their life at the lowest level of existence. But we see Abdullah, who had such a love in his heart for all of humanity, wanted to teach humanity how to break all mental illness and how to live in their divinity. And so what he displayed to Neville Goddard, it was for us to display to all the world and to use our lives to be value to humanity and to reach out to humanity. Not just only by teaching them what they can manifest in the material world, but to teach them the truth about the promise also. How we must one day awake from the dream of life and experience the resurrection and experience the new birth. Because our first birth brought us into the world of mental illness, because the system is set up to keep you in a state of mental illness, to keep you sick. But not until you rise beyond the system that you will realize that you're the great physician. You're the one who can heal yourself. And you're the one who can bring healing to humanity. So we are all healers. We are miracle workers. We are magicians. And we have to get in touch with our magical self by changing our mindset. So if you change your mind, you'll be able to change your life. But you have to accept the fact that you've been brainwashed from a little child. And whatever been placed in your subconscious mind from the time you came out of your mother's womb up to the age of 7 or even 8, if you do not change what have been impressed on your subconscious mind by changing your thinking I'm actually looking for the right word. By reprogramming, yes, by reprogramming your subconscious mind, then you will not be able to grow any further in the understanding of your spiritual self. And so, when you understand that, you realize that true education is actually self-realization. And real education lies within, not without. Because everything that they use to educate you, it is the product of perception. It is the creation. But first of all, you are the creator. Okay, your spirit having a human experience. And that is what Abdullah was really teaching Neville. And you know, sometimes it really moves a lot on my heart to see so many people who look like me, who are living in such, you know, mental illness, and I refer to it as stupidity, and many of them are referred to as monkey because they're living in the monkey brain, the chattering mind, instead of using their faculties that they were born with, and were born with the faculty of perception, will, memory, reasoning, intuition, imagination, and we have to use all these faculties to live the highest version of ourselves. So with that being said, my brother and my sisters, I just want to encourage you to practice self-talk in your life in a conscious way. Practice meditation. Try to eat a healthy diet, balanced diet. Get as much sunlight and get yourself more in tune with nature and get yourself more in tune with who you are. So let me end here by saying, if what I'm saying, if it really resonates with you and is really helping you in any way, I will encourage you that if you haven't subscribed already, to subscribe, to like, to comment, or to share this message. But before I leave you, I just want to let you know that this message I bring to you, that it is the single eye, yes, it is the single eye message of self-realization, which Matthew 6:22 says that if your eye be single, your whole body be full of light. To be honest with you, my brother and my sisters, had it been that a single eye would have opened within me, when I would have felt that great and mighty shaking, and awake within myself, and I sound like a fiery being, having heard the unholy wind, and burst my crown chakra and became invisible, I wouldn't have been here bringing this message to you, always pointing you to look inwardly, to discover that your real identity is your divinity. And I always saying to you, do not let anyone brainwash you or deceive you to make you believe that the eye above the pyramid and the US dollar is an evil symbol. No, it is the all-seeing eye of God in you. It is the eye of the mystics. It is the eye of the prophets. Those who will go beyond the skull and come in to a certain level of intelligence. And those who put that symbol on the money knows of that intelligence that will bring you into that place of omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresence. Okay? And so they place that there. And that's the reason why I always put my hand right above my crown chakra. And saying to you that when you have the experience, that you come to realize that it is the rising of the S-U-N in a S-O-N, and that it is the dawning of a new day in your life. For the sun parallels the human imagination, and the human imagination parallels the sun. For without the sun, there is no life, and there is no light. And without the human imagination, there isn't anything made that was made. That's the reason why you're told that the Lord thy God is a sun and a shield, and no good thing will he withhold from you, in Psalms 84:11. And the sun has never withhold any good thing from all of humanity, for the sun is what powers all of humanity and gives all of humanity its energy. That's the reason why you're also told in Malachi chapter 4 and verses 2 that the sun, as in the S-U-N of righteousness, shall arise in you with healing in his wings. And that's why I'm bringing healing to all of humanity, by pointing each and every one to look inwardly and to use your mind power, which is your solar power, your sun power, your God power, your creative power, which is actually sexual power. Use that power to achieve your every desire and put an end to all mental illness. So with that being said, I want to say peace, love you all,